so for this next piece, we're going to talk about why converting is actually necessary in life. So let's say I go to Six Flags and they have a ride and it says I need to be 60 inches tall to ride it. But I'm 5'2". So am I 60 inches? I don't know. So here's what I would have to do. I would need to convert. So I know that 1 foot is equal to, excuse my handwriting, 12 inches. Alright, so 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Well, I have 5 feet plus 2 inches, so I would have to convert 5 feet equals how many inches? Well, what I would first have to do, I'm going to make my pen a little thicker because I don't like writing with this thin pen, is I would have to say 1 times what makes 5? 1 times 5 makes 5. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. Now I have to multiply 5 times 2 is 10. Add the 1 on top. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So far I have 60 inches, but I have to add the other 2. Plus the 2 inches, and I get 62 inches is my height in inches. Am I tall enough to ride this ride? I have to be 60. I'm 62. I get the pass. I can ride this ride. Now, let's do that again. Well, let's do it with something else. Let's say you measure a table and find it is 5 feet and 10 inches tall. How many inches tall is it? Well, we have 5 feet, right? And we know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, right? And we have 5 feet, and we need to know how many inches that is equal to. And then when we get that, we have to add plus the 10 inches. And then we will get our answer. Well, start off. 1 times 5 makes 5. We just want to go from 1 foot to 5 feet, so we multiply by 5. Then we have to do the same thing to this side, and we already know that it's 60 because 12 times 5 was up here, so 60, right? Plus 10 because there's an extra 10 inches, it's 5 feet and 10 inches tall, so that would be 70. So your table is 70 inches. I'm going to put my inches, that's the abbreviation, IN is the abbreviation for inches. Yours is 70 inches tall, so you just got to figure out what feet is in inches, and then add whatever inches are on the other side. Now, let's do another problem. This time, let's do hours and minutes. So let's say I am making a tapestry. That's the same thing that Princess P was making. It's that picture made of thread. And it takes me 2 days to sew it. I don't think it's actually called sewing. I think there's probably a word for that, but since we're using string, let's call it sewing. Alright, so the first day, it took her 3 hours and, 3 hours and 45 minutes to sew it. The second day, she worked for 2 hours and 10 minutes. how many minutes did she work in all? Well, for this problem, we've got to do two things. First of all, we've got the hours. So it took her 3 hours here, all right? On the second day, 2 hours. So we have 5 hours there, all right? And the second one is we already have minutes. We have 45 minutes here and 10 minutes here, all right? And they want to know how many minutes did she work in all. So they don't want hours. So we have 3 hours plus 2 hours makes 5 hours, and then we have 45 minutes plus 10 minutes makes 55 minutes. Now, ooh, that's pretty ugly looking handwriting, but that's okay. Since this is already in minutes, we're going to leave it alone. But this needs to convert. So we know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. And we have 5 hours. But we don't know how many minutes that makes. Quick and easy, we're going to do 1 times what makes 5? 5. 5 seems to be our favorite number today. 1 times 5 makes 5. What you do on this side of the equal sign, you do on this one. So times 5. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 6 is 30. 300 minutes. But we're not done yet because we still have these minutes left over. So I'm going to add them. 55. 300 plus 55 is just 355. So I worked on that tapestry 355 minutes because we converted the 5 hours to get 300, and then we just added our minutes. And if you notice, all I did here was I took these hours that were added up. So let me show you right there. To get my 5 hours and 55 minutes, I did 3 hours and 45 minutes and 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I added them. I'm going to do it like this just because it's easier. So 45 plus 10 is 55, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So we have 5 hours and 55 minutes. That's how we got that. All right, and then we just have to convert. I'm going to do one last problem with you guys, and then you guys are going to go off on your own. This time we're going to be working with feet and inches. I need to look for a blank space to actually write on because I have writing all over the place on this document. There we go. There we go. So, let's say I want to build a fence around my garden. All right? And I measure it. I measure a pole that I'm going to cut into a bunch of pieces. And I know that this pole let me move this over because let me correct my spelling also. All right, and I cut off 1 foot and 7 inches from the end of the pole. All right. How long is the pole now? Now you might be saying, this does not look like a conversion problem. This looks more like a subtraction problem. Well, let me show you why it is a conversion problem. Can you do Oops. Right. And all right. Can you subtract these two as they are? 6 minus 7, can you subtract? No. You could do 6 minus 1, but you can't subtract 6 minus 7. So you need to convert as your first step in order to determine the answer. So we know that there are 1 foot equals 12 inches, right? And we know that we have 6 feet equals some amount of inches. We don't know how many though. So let's convert. And I'm going to move this down so we have some room to work. Let's convert. 1 times what makes 6? 6. 1 times 6 makes 6. And what we do to one side, we do to the other. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 1 is 6, 7. So we have 72 inches plus 6 inches. Because that's 6 feet and 6 inches. And 72 plus 6 is 78. Alright, so we have 78 inches. I'll make that look more like a 7. Now we have 1 foot and 7 inches. Well, we know 1 foot is 12 inches, so it'll just be 12 plus 7 is equal to 19. And now to find the difference, because that's what we had to do originally, we just have to subtract. So now we can do 78 minus 19 is completely possible. And I would do 8 minus 9 can't be done, so I borrow. This becomes 6, which is a 60, and this becomes 18. 9 and 9 is 18, that's a fast fact. So 18 minus 9 is 9. 6 minus 1 is 5. So 59 inches is how long the pole is now. Alright, and that's the same as if we did it in feet. This is just measured in inches. Alright, so you guys are going to do the next couple. I am going to give you the conversion charts, so you do not need to memorize the way I did all of these conversions. It's not necessary because you can just look them up online, and I think trying to memorize them is a waste of time. So I will give you the conversion charts on your paper, and you're just going to convert and add or subtract if the problem asks you to, or it might just ask you to convert. See you later.